love makes me wanna. Makes me wanna. Your love makes me wanna. Makes me wanna. Your love makes me wanna. Your love makes me wanna. Makes me wanna.
Hello, 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 and welcome to In the Mix with yours truly, Jeannie Ortega, coming to you from the Sunshine State, Orlando, Florida. It is my honor to be your host today on TBN Salsa. Thank you to Matt and Lori Crouch, as well as Samuel Rodriguez, for another opportunity to boast on God. With this show, it's my heart to highlight people in music, movies, media, and ministry that are doing things for the kingdom of God. The Bible says every good and perfect gift comes from heaven. Well, it also says that God has given to each and every one of us a gift to share with each other as good stewards of His amazing grace. Amen. Today, I'm so excited because I get to introduce you to a group of people that are doing just that. Before I introduce to you their names and all that, I want to show you the trailer to this incredible new TV show that they're all a part of. So check it out. It's Domino Alley.
God will only heal what you let Him heal. Because if you don't, you know what will happen? Your baby is going to pay. And then you're going to get on that ship and make the people you work with pay. And just like that, it'll be a domino alley.
Try not to be late tomorrow.
You know, I'm actually pretty glad you're back.
That was too much for them to handle.
You probably fainted at the first sight of blood. It's no wonder my brother left you.
I'm gonna find out what you're hiding.
Going IA wasn't what I expected. Being back home makes me feel whole again. You're the only one who truly knows me and all my flaws.
Well, amazing. I was just like, oh, I want more. Let me introduce you guys to the cast of Domino Alley. We'll start with you, Jasmine Yam-Pierre. Yam-Pierre. Perrier, I named you after a drink. We saw you all over the trailer, so you're an actress in the film. Yes. Then we have next to her Donna Calloway. She is an actress, a U.S. veteran, and a chaplain. Yes. So thank you for your service and what you continue to do. It's amazing. Then next to her we have Leija Apple. I like that. She is former Miss Suncoat and actress as well in this incredible TV show. And then lastly, last but not least, holding it down for the men, Robbie Harris, who is also an actor in Domino Alley. So welcome to TBN Salsa, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for being a part of this. This was really, I was pitched the idea, and it was really important to me because my husband is a U.S. veteran. And I understand firsthand some of the, battles that military people go through when they come home. And I wasn't with him when he served, so I got him fresh out of the service, so I understand, the aftermath of just coming back into civilian life. And this topic is just so important because we hear it a lot, but then it just becomes like, oh yeah, that's just very few people. But suicide is such a really awful thing that is an effect of sometimes serving our country. And then even here, I do a lot of evangelistic ministry. And most of the people that I come in contact with on the streets of Orlando are veterans, which rips my heart to shreds because it's just, I cannot fathom how people risk their lives for this country and end up so hopeless that they want to die or in the streets. So it's a very serious topic, and I thought we needed to talk about it. So first I want to ask, and I guess whoever wants to, I hope everyone or somebody wants to answer. What does Domino Alley mean?
Well, I think I can kind of speak for all of us, and always feel free to chime in as well. Domino Alley, even as Christians, we're all going to have our struggles. And like my character, I'm the chaplain's assistant, and you think, oh, chaplain's assistant, always, at the right hand of God or whatever you can say. But there's going to be daily struggles. And you're going to have struggles on the battlefield and off the battlefield. And I'm not a veteran. I've never served in the military. I have a lot of friends that are veterans. My dad's an Army veteran serving during the Vietnam time in Ethiopia. So I have not seen firsthand. And so with Domino Alley, it really brings light to those of us who haven't been in the military to see the struggles. So Domino Alley, we have our struggles, and if you don't address those struggles, it's a domino effect to an end result that may or may not be a good outcome.
Yeah. Donna, I want to ask you, since you're, a veteran, just kind of thinking about the title and just from your own experiences or stuff you've encountered, were there anything just that you can share with us that you would say was kind of like you saw firsthand that domino effect happen because it wasn't addressed?
Sure. I mean, there was positive and negative on both sides of domino effect.
That's right.
It can be a positive thing where you follow God's calling, and each decision you make affects something else and something else and something else. I've seen in the military, I've definitely seen both sides of that when something was addressed and things got taken care of quickly and appropriately. And then at other times when stuff was not addressed and we saw the consequences of that, but eventually it did get addressed. So.
What do you mean by when stuff is addressed? Because, for instance, if someone's watching, they happen to tune in, I think the biggest thing that the enemy does to all of us as Christians is we feel like we have to hide, like we cannot share. I'm a pastor's wife now. My husband is now a pastor, and that's like a whole nother level because sometimes you feel like, well, you can't really share your own struggle too much because you have to pour into other people's lives. And then I feel like as military people, because they're supposed to be so strong and defending the country, I feel like it can be a similar thing where you don't know how to approach sharing a weakness that you have, whether it's a PTSD thing or just you saw something and it's really hard for you to get past it. You guys can all share because all of us we're all believers, we're all human, and we all have things that we have to come to terms with. What would you say to that?
I think community is very important in healing, and sharing, being vulnerable enough to share makes such a difference. Not just for the person sharing to be able to get that out, but also there's always somebody else going through something, and then it helps people to not feel alone when they know that. And I've seen this happen with VSOs, veteran service organizations, where some of the veterans are sharing their experience with each other, and it's causing support, and people are coming out of struggles. So it's really incredible. That community is so important, just like it is in the church, same in the military.
Amen. Jasmine and Robbie, I did want to ask you, what made you want to be a part of the cast? We'll start with ladies first and then Robbie. What made you want to be a part of something like this?
Well, when I read the script, it really, just how you saw the trailer, how it just made your hair stand up, it did the same to me. But one thing that really spoke out to me was just how true these characters are and the real struggles that they go through. And there's a lot of, when it comes to like faith-based films, it's really, I'm just gonna get down to it, it's hard because they portray these characters as really corny and not realistic.
Yeah,
and it really
real. That's what we're here for.
It really I don't know. I just feel like with Domino Alley, it just gets down to the nitty gritty. It's not pretty. We're all human, and we are all flesh, and we're gonna make mistakes. So with this script, I was so excited to dive into that because, of course, why not? First of all, as an actress, you know, these gifts are from God, and you want to make sure that you're doing it for Him. So, you know, why not do something that's with a great meaning?
Absolutely.
So this
That can spread
it was
awareness.
a great experience, and I learned a lot. And I'm just excited for the future with this, you know, this
That's great.
project.
Yeah. How about you, Rob?
So for me, mine is slightly different from everyone else's. I'm one of the few that actually knows their character.
Wow.
I grew up with Brother Michael, so
Wow. So you like really know him.
yes.
Wow.
And if you've ever met him or if you ever get a chance to meet him, you'll see that there's not too many that can play Brother Michael. And I'm not like stroking my ego or anything. He is a character. He's a great guy, awesome guy. So I actually met Casey and she knew him and didn't realize that I knew Brother Michael.
Yeah.
And when she started describing to me this character and asked me to play him, it was funny because I knew him, and the whole time I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
I'll do that for you.
Was there anything in the script that you guys were just really like, wow, you know, that was real, that's gonna really touch somebody? And if you can kind of share a little bit, that really stuck out to you, that was really like, this is gonna help people understand the truth of what happens.
One of the scenes that really struck to me was actually when I find my friend that had tried to commit suicide. In the end, you see like the whole tub and with all the blood. And I've never experienced that, thank God, and I hope that I don't. But sorry, just knowing that there's people that I know that have been through that had those thoughts, and then me looking back, it's just really. It's awesome that I could be a tool to play that part, but it was really hard to play that part and just seeing her there, and it just takes you back and it makes the scene more real and more impactful. So I just hope that everyone else can really connect with that scene as well and open their eyes that in the military there's a spiritual battlefield. It's a physical thing and it's a spiritual thing, and it's just a sensitivity. So yeah.
Robbie, I'm not gonna ask you the same question because we need a ministry moment here, and I'm just anointing you to minister right now. I don't know if that's what you do, but I really feel like if there's somebody that's watching this that has struggled with these thoughts of suicide, it could be military, it could be non-military, this is something that's very real. What would you say to them if you can look at the camera and just give them some inspiration that maybe you gleaned from the TV show or that the Lord is depositing in you right now? What would you say?
If I could say anything to anyone who's had thoughts of suicide, whether it be in the service or outside of the service, I really would say just hold on. You know, it may seem like it won't ever get better, but I can promise you that just hold on for another moment. Someone is willing to listen. Someone is willing to be there for you. You just have to find the right person. There's people that are going through things similar to what you're going through. You just have to hold on and get through that moment because tomorrow's another day, and God willing, you will make it.
Amen. Amen. I want to piggyback on that because I struggled with suicide as a child. And sometimes the enemy will lie to you and just make you feel like that's the only solution. And, you know, I would say sometimes, you know, it's hard to just think hopeful. Some people don't even have a God that they understand. They comprehend what God really, who He really is and how He can save us. And for me, when I was going through my battles, I didn't have a relationship with God. But it's very important to share, unpack what you're feeling. And sometimes you'll have people that you can share with and sometimes you won't. Journal, put on some music, cry your eyes out. Let it out, because the enemy uses that to keep you in this funk to make you believe that that's the only way out. But it's not the only way out. If there's breath in your lungs, God has a purpose for you. So don't give in. He loves you. And thank you guys so much for being a part of the show. Next, I'll be able to chat with the co-writer of the show and someone who is just really instrumental with helping veterans battle this. So, guys, right now, before I introduce my next guest, I do want to just play a little kind of mission statement for this ministry. It's called Mission 22, that's helping veterans every single day really know how to get through on the other side of all of this. Check it out.
Mission 22 is dedicated to unite the country in the war against veteran suicide. Bringing our veterans home is every American's job. Ambassadors are creating impact in their community across the country. Mission 22 has comprehensive treatment programs for post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury at no cost to veterans. This is an American issue. No matter where you stand, there's a place for your support. Visit mission22.com to learn more.
So we're here now with Sean Huber and Rochelle Howell. Thank you for joining us, and we'll talk more of maybe more of the serious sides of what's Domino Alley is, and you're part of Mission 22. Correct. So I'll start with you, Sean, this time. Tell us just about Mission 22 and just kind of how you got involved in this.
So Mission 22 was created basically for a reason that I don't think anyone wanted it to be created, because 22 military people, veterans, commit suicide per day, which is a huge number. And the big thing with that is, how do you go ahead and address something so large? So Mission 22 was created by actually a friend of mine from high school and 3 other gentlemen. And what it was they wanted to prevent, when you get out of the military, suicide. And there was nothing available for them. So that's why it was instituted. And what we provide, a couple different programs. One's called WIN, which is Warriors Integrated Now. And that is basically a 12-month program that's designed to be done from your house. It's free, so we fund everything. 85% of any money we bring in goes directly to veterans in the programs that we have. So they take your blood from your doctor. It's sent to Chicago to our doctor. They do over 260 tests. They want to make sure that everything is going to be balanced correctly. And what they found is magnesium is really, really low with people with post-traumatic stress disorder, and their cortisol levels are really high. So when those two things are balanced out, and we take a holistic approach to all of this, that depression's lessened, that anxiety's lessened, and that they can function better, to think clearer. And that's the main issue, is when you're under stress for such a long period of time, sometimes you think you're going a little crazy, and actually it's your chemical imbalance going on. And once that's taken care of, then the real healing can begin.
I love that there is actually scientifically things and medical things that people can do to help, as well as pray and cast whatever devil of suicide out, you know what I mean? But that's really incredible that the Mission 22 does that. Just a quick question before I move on to Rochelle. Is this for veterans or people on reserve or all military people?
All military people.
Okay.
Definitely work with the VA in conjunction with what we're doing. It's just more of an approach to get people to feel comfortable in society coming back. Our position is, hey, we don't care what's wrong with you, we care what's right with you to make it better. We also partner with other nonprofits that help veterans out, from service dogs to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to CrossFit. We want people, like they were saying, is in a community, because community definitely supports you. And realizing that you're not alone, and that you can definitely benefit from being around like-minded people to get better.
Thanks. Rochelle, so you are the co-writer of Domino Alley. Awesome. Let me ask you, what was it about this initiative or this project that made you really be so invested to co-write? And I'm sure you heard a lot of the true life stories, and I'm sure that's not easy. If you can kind of tell us a little bit about that.
What made me want to jump in it, I did my 4 years, and when the producer came to me and I saw the pilot, I just fell in love with it. I thought it was...
So you're a veteran as well?
Yes, yes.
Oh, well, thank you for your service.
Thank you so much. it was such an amazing project, and the ideas that she had were just fantastic. She's like one of the most creative people I know. And so aside from that, I just think it was really important to kind of touch on a lot of these topics that happen throughout the military. I think a lot of people, when they think about the military, it's like, very patriotic, it's red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are going through so many difficult things, and a lot of them are very young. And you think about when somebody goes off to college, you have all those experiences at a young age.
Yeah.
But the military, it's a little heavy. It's heavy, and you deal with these really
it's like
heavy
real
things.
Life.
Yeah, it's
real. Like you can't. That's
right,
crazy.
and you can't get away from it. You don't get to, my experience, I did 2 years, my first 2 years, I was out to sea the whole time. And you don't get to just like go home at the end of the day. You gotta kind of like, whatever problems or whatever issues you're dealing with, you kind of gotta stick with it and, push through. So I thought it was important to like really shed some light on just the day-to-day, good stuff and bad stuff, negative and positive, just the day-to-day stuff that people wouldn't normally, it wouldn't even cross their minds that veterans or active duty members go through.
Yeah. There's a little topic, and we won't stay on it long, but I did pick it up. I'm not sure if it was reading the press release on the TV show or watching the trailer or an extended trailer. But it's crazy the amount of things that soldiers have to go through, period. And something that I saw that talked about sex trafficking, and that even our soldiers have to kind of, they get confronted with that. I don't know.
I know that people hear every day about, sexual assault. It does happen in the military. It's very real. I've had friends that have been propositioned or have been assaulted, and it makes a huge impact. And we're talking about everything. You mentioned suicide earlier, just right now, and that's a part of it. So, the human trafficking, it's real. We're going all over the world. People are getting involved in things that you don't want to hear about, but it's real, and we just want to, dabble.
What are some of the other things that you touch on besides suicide, human sex trafficking?
Oh, heavy stuff. That domestic violence, we talk about that. Depression, just the arduous workload that kind of comes with, the day-to-day ins and outs of being in the military. Family issues, because, we're not just focusing on the command itself. We're going outside of that and looking how these day-to-day things impact the lives of our, our veterans and our active duty members. Family issues, family history, how, just how you deal with your family can kind of impact the way you involve yourself with the rest of the world, anything.
Wow. Sean, I want to ask you, just hearing Rochelle talk about all of these things, and just kind of, what do you think about Domino Alley, and just kind of the message that that'll bring to people that you deal with this, and that this is very real and it exists. But I will say, half of the country is just kind of like oblivious to the fact that our young soldiers, our veterans are like battling these real things when they come home.
The military is an interesting institution where you're tough. It's a lot of male dominant, or we'll say masculine energy, not necessarily male. So the feminine energy in a lot of people is the caring and the loving portion of it. So how do you go from being in such an area of go, 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 to step out to the real life where now you have to care, but you've been so afraid to care? So it's an interesting thing when you're talking about this domino effect. If you just pull out one domino, you can stop the process happening. But it's figuring out when to jump in to get it quick enough to save someone. So that's where that community piece really comes into. And I think showing behind the scenes of really what's going on, it's not just a job. It's not just a lifestyle. It's something that's going to impact you forever. And how are you going to integrate back into society, where in the military, you're definitely told what to do, what your job is, you go do it, you come out, and now you're like, okay, now what do I do with myself? So you have a purpose in the military. When you get out, what is your purpose? What is your passion that's connected to that purpose? And I think that's the transition that Mission 22 really makes a difference in helping people in that transitional period.
Sean, I want to ask you, what are some of the things that you do at Mission 22 or that we can do, to pull that domino out, to prevent it from getting to a place of suicide or, severe depression where they, can't function anymore?
So what I did when I got started is signed up to become an ambassador. It's an easy form to fill out. Each state has a state representative. They do all kinds of different meets. I did one called Jeep Beach where we raised a lot of awareness. There's booths where you can give out information to people. We also have, it's called Troopers. It's for the children of people in the military and teaching them how to deal with stressful situations, because it's an impact on not just the person, the vet, it's the entire family and how to integrate it. So that's a great, easy way to get involved, is become an ambassador and figure out what you like to do. They ask me to speak for them, I do that. They ask me to go to events, I help them out with that. But it's strictly volunteer. Everyone's a volunteer except the people in the main office, which is kind of great.
Yeah. Okay. Well, is there anything, let's say, personally, like if there's a wife or mother or somebody that word that they can give to their loved one to even be open to something like Mission 22?
So the thing with Mission 22 is we want people who want help, not need help. So there are first responders, definitely, that help out with people who are about to commit suicide or have suicidal thoughts. We're there after that. We're there, hey, you can sign up a family member if you'd like, but they have to want to go into the program.
All right. Thanks. Rochelle, last thing. What do you want people to take away from Domino Alley?
I want somebody who is, whether they're going through a hard time or not, to watch this and feel like they're not, to take away the stigma from, life struggles, depression, suicidal thoughts, just any type of negative feeling, sexual assault. I want them to look at this and say, be able to say, not necessarily be able to say, this is my story, but if they've gone through it or a friend they've known has gone through it, I want them to be able to say, I can relate to this. And that's really the goal, is like, it's kind of, it feels negative to say, you want somebody to relate to all these negative things, but there's good and bad in life, and we don't want people to feel alone, because there's so many people who go through these things, and like at the end of the day, they just feel so alone. I have friends who've gone through it, and they just, still, years after it happened, they just feel so alone. The anniversaries come, and I would want them to watch this and be like, I feel like my story is being told. I feel like I'm getting, some type of justice, anything like that.
Oh, amen. Well, you guys out there, make sure you tune in to Domino Alley. I'm sure the information was all over the screen. Check out Mission 22. There are things out there. There's resources out there, so you do not have to feel alone. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time.
Make me wanna